Hello and welcome to Untwisted Threads. 2024 is here, and now is a great time for new goals or resolutions, and also to reflect on things from the previous year. Since the start of our channel in August of 2023, we have reviewed 37 yarns. That's a lot of yarn in 5 months. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at my top yarn picks in a few different categories of the yarns we reviewed last year. If you enjoy learning about different yarns and yarn reviews, consider subscribing to our channel as we post 2 yarn and yarn related videos a week on Mondays and Thursdays. So for today's categories, we'll be going over woolly sock yarns, merino, Peruvian Highland wool, alpaca, and specialty yarns. All of the yarns mentioned in today's video we have reviewed and are included in our yarn reviews playlist of 2023 with a link in the description if you're interested in checking any of them out. All of these rankings are based on their score from their review videos, but also if a yarn blew me away and if I would work with them again. Now these are just my opinions, and I would love to hear your thoughts about any of the yarns we mentioned in today's video. So let's get started with our woolly sock yarns that are not merino. I was a little surprised that we only reviewed 4 non-merino sock yarns, so I will definitely have to keep that in mind for this new year to include some more. On the left, we have Sanus Garn Sisu and West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply. On the right, we have Patent Croy Sock and Regia 4-ply. And since this category is so small, we're already moving on to the finals, which are West Yorkshire Spinner Signature 4-ply and Patent Croy Sock. Signature 4-ply was a yarn that I saw a lot of at local yarn shops, and I now understand why. It is a woolly yet soft sock yarn that comes in solids and self-patterning colorways. Patent's Croy Sock doesn't have as many options for colors or patterns and is actually a little bit more expensive per yard, and to me wasn't as soft as its competitor. So with that, our winner is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply. So a little spotlight on our winning woolly sock yarn, West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply received an overall score of 4.6 out of 5 in its review video. It contains 40% wool, 35% blue-faced Leicester, and 25% nylon. In the US, it typically costs around $13 per 100 gram skein, and although it doesn't have a huge color selection, it is so widely available. I think it's a very nice woolly feeling sock yarn in my opinion that doesn't irritate my sensitive skin. I actually just received some more of this sock yarn, and I'm itching to cast on a pair of socks with it. Next is our biggest category, merino. This category includes both superwash and non-superwash merino yarns. I love merino yarns, and maybe my bias towards them shows in the yarns we have reviewed so far, because this category includes 12 merino yarns. On the left, we have Cascade Heritage, Holst Garn Coast, Knitpick Stroll, Camaros Snefnug, Scabies Metropolis, and Drops Daisy. On the right, we have Mila Mia Naturally Soft Merino, King Cole Luxury Merino, Drops Soft Tweed, Hobie Friends Extra Fine Merino, Creamka Soul Wool The Merry Merino, and Sanus Garn Double Sunday. Making their way to the next round is Cascade Heritage, Knitpick Stroll, Drops Daisy, Mila Mia Naturally Soft Merino, Hobie Friends Extra Fine Merino, and Creamka Soul Wool Merry Merino. For the semifinals, the 4 yarns that are moving on are Cascade Heritage, Drops Daisy, Hobie Friends Extra Fine Merino, and Creamka Soul Wool The Merry Merino. So we have narrowed down from 12 merino yarns to 2, and the finals are Drops Daisy versus Creamka Soul Wool Merry Merino. Drops Daisy is a new yarn released in August of 2023 and is a non-superwash merino featuring 26 colorway options. Creamka Soul Wool Merry Merino is a superwash merino yarn featuring 30 colors. And although this yarn feels more luxurious, bouncy, and soft, and if I have it in my budget to pay more for a garment, then this one would probably be my first pick. However, because Drops Daisy is cheaper and has a better color selection in my opinion, Drops Daisy is our merino winner of 2023. So a little spotlight on our winning merino yarn. Drops Daisy received a review score of 4.2 out of 5. It is 100% non-superwash merino and costs about $4.55 US per 50 gram skein. Again, its beautiful color selection, high twist, softness, and stitch definition is just calling for me to make something with this yarn. Moving on to our next category, Peruvian Highland wool. This is our smallest category with only 3 yarns in the competition. We have Cascade 220, Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and Filcolana Peruvian. Moving on to the final 2 is Cascade 220 and Filcolana Peruvian. Cascade 220 has 170 color choices, and it's nearly impossible not to find this yarn because of how widely available it is. Filcolana Peruvian originates in Europe and is much more difficult to get a hold of here in the US. They have only 71 colorway options, but in my opinion, Filcolana Peruvian is just a slightly bit softer than Cascade 220, making it the winner of the Peruvian Highland wool category. Filcolana Peruvian scored a 4.2 out of 5, which is less of a score than Cascade 220, but it is the availability that brought this score down some in its review video. It is 100% Peruvian Highland wool, and similar to the reasons we chose West Yorkshire Spinner's Signature 4-ply for the woolly sock winner, this yarn, yes, is woolly, but has a little bit of a softer hand. It costs around $5 per 50 gram skein, plus shipping from overseas. Next is alpaca. We reviewed 6 yarns with alpaca content in 2023. On the left, we have Barocco Ultra Alpaca, Camaro Snefnug, and Drops Air. On the right, we have Drops Soft Tweed, Issachar Eco Baby, and Drops Sky. Moving on to the final 2, we have Barocco Ultra Alpaca and Issachar Eco Baby. Now, Issachar Eco Baby is definitely softer, but its chainette stitch definition disappointed me a little bit after blocking. It is a little more expensive and doesn't have a wide color range. Barocco Ultra Alpaca is a little bit less expensive and has a fiber content that is more hardy and durable. For me, I would choose Barocco Ultra Alpaca as the winner. So as a little spotlight on our alpaca winner, Barocco Ultra Alpaca scored a 4 out of 5 in our review video. It contains 50% superfine alpaca and 50% Peruvian Highland wool. It costs $8.50 per 50 gram skein and has 27 colorway options. I love the halo that the alpaca fibers give this yarn and that extra strength and hardiness of the Peruvian Highland wool too. Last but not least is our specialty category, which is a roundup of some of the other yarns we have reviewed that maybe aren't as commonly used as the other categories, like mohair, angora, yak, blue-faced Leicester, Icelandic wool, and Shetland. We have 8 yarns in this category, starting on the left with Let Lopi, Concept by Kautia Cotton Yak, Noro Silk Garden Solo, and Plymouth Angora. On the right, we have Concept by Kautia Super Kid Mohair, Jameson & Smith Shetland Heritage, West Yorkshire Spinners Fleece Blueface Leicester, and Rowan Kid Classic. Moving on to the final 4, we have Concept by Kautia Cotton Yak, Noro Silk Garden Solo, Concept by Kautia Super Kid Mohair, and West Yorkshire Spinners Fleece Blueface Leicester. For our final 2, we have Noro Silk Garden Solo and West Yorkshire Spinners Fleece Bluefaced Leicester. Noro Silk Garden Solo surprised me. From the skein, it felt pretty rustic and I almost had to push myself to finish my swatch because I really didn't enjoy working with it. However, after blocking, this yarn blew me away with how soft and plush it was. West Yorkshire Spinners Fleece Blueface Leicester was overall just amazing. It looks woolly but feels so soft and like a dream. There aren't a lot of color choices, but that didn't stop me from declaring this yarn the winner. West Yorkshire Spinners Fleece Blueface Leicester scored a 4 out of 5 in our review video. This 100% Blueface Leicester yarn costs $13.50 per 100 gram skein, but if you purchase it in the US instead of shipping from the United Kingdom, it is around $20 per skein. Although it's a little bit of a higher mid-cost yarn, it blew me away. It made me feel like I didn't have any skin sensitivities at all because of how soft it was and how woolly it looked. I would probably knit super slow if I got to work with a sweater quantity of this yarn because I wouldn't want my experience to end. I truly love this yarn. Did any of these yarns surprise you? Although some of them may have scored higher than others, there are things like cost, fiber content, and color selection that outweigh scores sometimes, in my opinion, depending on what I'm looking for or wanting to spend. I understand that everyone's opinions are different. This was just a fun little roundup of some of my favorite yarns we reviewed in 2023. If you have any comments or yarn recommendations, please leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.